part two. So where did I leave off yesterday? Oh yeah, your first memory. Um, I think so. Chat around the time when I was like 7, 8, 9, 10. What does a young kid dream of? Think about it. That's the age when you start dreaming. You start like wanting something. You're I want to be a doctor. I want to be a. It was funny because I remember I was in church, and this is before my grandma passed, and they were like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "I want to be a dad," and that was one of my first dreams. So, speaking of dads and speaking of loving your parents, I remember when I was like getting older, I would admire my dad. It's a great thing to admire your parents, especially a father and son relationship is a beautiful thing. Um, my dad used to run when he was in high school. When I mean run, he used to do like 5Ks, which is like races, like a race. Uh, so my dad told me all the stories about how he was like, "This is my time. This is how I did." And so, like, as soon as I was like 9, I was like, "Dude, I want to start running." So me and my dad went running for the first time. I remember we ran 1 mile. I was like 9 years old, and I did it in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And I was like, "Bro, I'm so good. I'm so ready." Dude, I was a professional at that point. As soon as I ran a mile in 8 minutes and 30 seconds when I was 9 years old, yeah, it was up from there. So I started running every single day, like 1 mile, then it went to a mile and a half, and then it went to 3 miles, and then it went to, 5 miles, um, to the point when I started doing races and I started competing very well for how old I was. I just remember growing up in school. I always liked to like, especially elementary. I always wanted to be the fastest kid. What's up with candy? Can we not? I always wanted to be the fastest kid or the most athletic kid. Um, so like I would always race all the kids in school and always try to beat them. But like when you're running a mile and a half after fourth grade every day or 3 miles and up, yeah, no one can keep up with you. And I would account that like the reason why like I have a decent physique is because I ran when I was younger. Dude, I was literally the fastest in my elementary school. I remember I went over to my cousin's house and I was like, "Bro, I'm faster than you." Beat him in a race. He's like 3 years older than me. I'm like, "I'm faster than you." You know how much of a flex that is when you're like 10? You're beating a 13-year-old cousin? Yeah. I was literally the fastest kid. Third, fourth, fifth grade. There is one kid, and he's my competitor my whole life.
No.
Babe, he was my competitor my whole life. We went to elementary school, middle school, and high school. I beat him every time in elementary school, middle school, and high school. He beat me every time because he hit puberty. I didn't until like I was like a freshman. And then in high school, we played football together. We were kind of competitive, but he was so much better than me. He ended up playing football for college, and I didn't even play football in college. Yeah, go take your shower. Dude, I loved running as a kid. I remember the longest race I ran, and I think this is when I was like 12, 13, it's called the Sound to Narrows. It's like a quarter marathon, I guess. 7.5 miles. I did it in like 56 minutes. Average 8-minute miles. Dude, what's good Fortnite sweat? Yeah. So like I had a dream, and my dream at that point was I want to do what my dad could do. I wanted to be like my dad. And I knew my dad when he was my age or a little bit older in high school. He was running cross country, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Um, all that it was just literally just admiration for my dad that caused me to have that. I know at the same time I always loved football. I don't know where that came from. I think it was at like in elementary school where um I was like playing football. We'd always play tackle football like kindergarten. It was awesome. Kindergarten we used to play tackle football. That reminds me, chat. You guys reminded me of something. When I was like in kindergarten, this is one of the worst times I ever got in trouble. I guess that's the proper way to say it. I think that this might be the worst I ever got in trouble. we, all the boys, decided that, hey, okay, basically there was this girl who was in class with us, and she was bragging, I go to Taekwondo or it was karate, I could beat all the boys up. And so all the boys got together and like, we low key beat her up because she said, you know, like when you're like 5'6", you know, 6'7", like, especially when you have sisters, like I didn't notice the difference. I used to fight my sisters at home. Like we used to fist fight when I was like that age because they were older than me. They beat me up. So like when she was like, "Oh, I do karate. I could beat you up." Yeah, I took that personally. I got in so much trouble. Yeah, I went home and I literally got grounded. I just remember crying my eyes out. And he locked me in my room, and I was such a bad kid, chat. I was such a bad kid. So like, I don't want to say this in front of my girlfriend, but I might have to. Yeah, that day I peed in the vent because I had to go pee and I didn't want to leave the room. Yeah, I never told anyone this. Shout out my dad. He knew we were doing it too because bro. Don't even say insane. I'm just being 100% truthful. That was the day that started it. That was the day that started it. And yeah, I definitely did it at least 10 times. It got to the point we got so confident with it, me and my brother, because we were sharing a room, we had bunk beds, that yeah, we would like, instead of going to the bathroom, which was downstairs, we'd just pee in the vent. I know he could smell it too, and I know he could hear it. Because his room was directly underneath us. That means we were peeing in the vent, and that was going... Dude, the worst part is... Chat. Imagine, you know what the vents have? Heaters. Hot pee. Our rooms literally smell like hot piss. Literally. I'm so sorry for the people that bought the house after us. Yeah. Oh. Dude, hot pee. I just remember it, bro. I remember it. I remember like the back of my head down talking about it. Dude, I was a bad kid. Now I think about it, I was a really bad kid. Chad, you guys want to hear another embarrassing thing I did? So this is probably like 8, 9, 10, you know, maybe 7. Bro, he used to pee in the corner of your room too. See, I'm telling you, I'm not the only one, bro. Boys gonna be boys. They're gonna do stupid stuff like pee in the room. Or in a box. Or in like a bucket. Bro, pee in a bottle. For whatever reason, I saw the vent and I was like, ah. And yeah, that was the pee spot. I don't know why we did that. But no, I remember this is the second time I got in a lot of trouble. So first was beating up the girl. Second, babe. Oh, second was I didn't understand that like showing your weenie in public was a bad thing. I don't know why, but I always wanted to be funny. I always wanted to make people laugh. Brady said white. Yeah, I was beat, brother. I was beat. So like we had some like we had some like kid from our church go over, and I was like just making him laugh all day. And I found this one thing that really made him laugh. I would just flash my wiener. Yeah. I don't know how old I was. I had to be under 10 though. And then it progressed. Oh, we're going to go over to the neighbor's house and go jump on the trampoline. Bro, I flashed the whole neighborhood. They saw pubescent shower. Oh, it was bad, bro. I don't think I've ever been like in trouble. I think that might be the worst I ever got in trouble. It had my parents thinking I was special. Like genuinely, like they were trying to get rid of me. They were trying to lock me up. I think he was laughing because it was funny. You think he was laughing because he was scared? He was older than me. What do you mean? You know, I've never told anyone this. You are special. You know, you just brought me back to the pee vent. Another reason we got away with peeing in the vent is because I low-key wet the bed until I was like 6. Not even gonna cap. I'm not special either. I just grew up with. I didn't grow up with a mom in my life. I had a stepmom my whole life. My mom left me when I was 2. Well, like they got divorced, and I never really spent a lot of time with her. Now, I mean, it's funny because you flashed him, not because you're a clown. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, Chad, those are two of the moments I got in a lot of trouble. And then this is the third one that comes to mind. And to this day, I swear I didn't do it. Type of one in chat if you ever got in trouble for something you didn't do, but they didn't believe that you didn't do it, but you still got in trouble. Even though you told them over and over, hey, I didn't do it. And it got so bad to the point where you're just like, yep, I did it. Because there's like, bro, there's no point in trying to argue with them. Yeah, I just did it. I did it. Because it was so bad. Dude, tell me why. So, at an elementary school, there was something called the recess line. There's the recess line, okay? In the recess line, I was the 2 grades below my sister. You would stand in the recess line as the older kids came in. So my sister sat at the table next to the recess line. And I guess while we're at the recess line, me and my friend started making fun of my sister. And I guess bullying her. I don't really remember doing it. Like even my memory at the moment when when you're looking back, I don't really remember doing it. But I convinced myself that I did do it because basically I got in trouble by the principal. And then I got in trouble at home. W iconic, W dog. Then I got in trouble at home because my principal said that I was bullying my sister at school. But my sister's older than me and she used to hit me with tables in metal chairs. Yeah, I was bullying her so much at school that she cried. But the funny thing is she didn't even hear me. I guess her friend heard her and told her that I said these things, and I don't remember saying them. Crazy. Dexter,